Okay, so we're going to get started with reading our short story, The Most Dangerous Game. And what we will do is I will read just the first page with you all, just to kind of get you started, and then you'll continue reading through question J, which is about halfway through the story. So what you're going to want to do is open the story and the questions both. So if you click on the reading link, if you're in Chrome, it'll just start downloading it for you. Okay, and then you can open up the questions. So these are your reading notes, and if you click down here, I like to use Chrome. I just think it's the easiest. I think that Safari does something similar. But you will see our text here, The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell. And you'll see that throughout the text, there are these little letters, and these letters correspond with a question that is in the margins. So you see there's A, here's B, here's C. So those are places that you're going to stop and answer questions as you are reading. Like we mentioned in the video where we did the notes, this does take place in kind of the early 1900s, and the main character is a big game hunter. So if you read up here, hunting for big game like lions and rhinos and leopards was popular among wealthy people in the early 20th century. And the two main characters are experienced hunters in search of a greater challenge. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, let's see if my questions have loaded. Good, they have. Okay, so as you read, you will stop at the questions in the margins and answer them on this document. Make sure that you're writing in complete sentences to receive full credit. So especially for you all, you are pre-AP, so your questions definitely need to be written in complete sentences. I do have the audio linked there. I know that it does help some people to listen along with it, so that is there as an option for you as you continue reading. And as you can see, you do not need to answer letter M. That's why there's nothing there. That's why it's left blank, because that's not actually a question. It's just something that it asks you to notice. Okay, so let's get started. Here I am. Okay, so I will, like I said, I'm going to read through this first page with you, and then I will kind of let you off to continue on your own. Off to the right there somewhere is a large island, said Whitney. It's rather a mystery. What island is it? Rainsford asked. The old charts call it Ship Trap Island, Whitney replied. A suggestive name, isn't it? Sailors have a curious dread of the place. I don't know why. Some superstition. I can't see it, remarked Rainsford, trying to peer through the dank tropical night that was palpable as it pressed its thick, warm blackness in upon the yacht. You've good eyes, said Whitney with a laugh, and I've seen you pick off a moose moving in the brown fall bush at 400 yards, but even you can't see 4 miles or so through a moonless Caribbean night. Not 4 yards, admitted Rainsford. Ugh, it's like moist black velvet. It will be light enough in Rio, promised Whitney. We should make it in a few days. I hope the Jaguar guns have come from Purdy's. We should have some good hunting up in the Amazon. Great sport hunting. The best sport in the world, agreed Rainsford. For the hunter, amended Whitney, not for the jaguar. Don't talk rot, Whitney, said Rainsford. You're a big game hunter, not a philosopher. Who cares how a jaguar feels? Perhaps the jaguar does, observed Whitney. Bah, they've no understanding. Okay, so here you have come to this first letter. And in this question, we are focusing on conflict, which is also the focus of our unit. So you're going to reread lines 16 through 21, and you are going to infer what can you conclude about Rainsford from his conflict with Whitney. Now, one thing that I want to point out, because every year we have several people that get a little bit confused by this, Whitney and Rainsford are their last names. So Rainsford is his last name, Whitney is his last name. These are two men that are on this boat. Remember, we said in the presentation that big game hunting would be something that only wealthy men would do at this time. So a lot of times people get confused and they're like talking about the girl that was on the boat. No. Okay, Whitney is a boy, and he and Rainsford are friends, and they are going to be going big game hunting, right? They're on their way to Rio, which is in Brazil, and they are going to be picking up some jaguar guns, right? So they are going to be hunting jaguars up in the Amazon, but they're going to go to Rio first and pick up these guns. Okay, so you're going to reread lines 16 through 21. So your line numbers are here on the side. So 16 is here, where Rainsford says that hunting is the best sport in the world. Whitney says, well, for the hunter, not for the jaguar. And then Rainsford says, don't talk rot. You're a big game hunter, not a philosopher. Who cares how a jaguar feels? And Whitney says, perhaps the jaguar does. And Rainsford says, bah, they've no understanding. So what can we conclude about Rainsford based on this conversation that he's having with Whitney? What type of person do you think that he might be, just based on this conversation? Is he someone who is caring and considerate of the feelings of other creatures? Is he someone who is kind of egotistical and only interested in his own gains and his own enjoyment? Is he someone who is scared and nervous? Is he someone who is confident and assured of himself, right? You kind of just want to come up with some ideas based on this conversation, because clearly Whitney feels like animals do have feelings, and that animals, although hunting is fun for the humans, it's definitely not fun for the animals. But Rainsford says, like, absolutely not. Animals don't have feelings. Like, who cares how they feel? They can't understand. So write down a sentence or two about what you can conclude about Rainsford based on this conflict. Pause the video if you need to, and then restart it once you're done. So you are going to continue reading on your own. You will read and answer letter B, letter C, letter D, letter E, F, G. I feel like I'm teaching kindergarten here. You'll keep going. H, I, and J is where you will stop. So you need to answer letter J, and then you can stop there. And we will read the rest of the story on Friday. So you will stop here at foreshadowing and answer this question, okay? And then you can stop for the day, like I said. I was going to tell you one more thing. Oh, yes. So occasionally there are some words that might be somewhat unfamiliar to us, sort of modern word. Sorry, not modern words, but words that are not modern, right? That maybe we don't use very often anymore, or maybe they are words that we don't recognize just because they have like a cultural meaning that we're not familiar with. So anytime you see that, like right here, this word briar, and then there's this little number 2. So that tells you that there's going to be a footnote that explains what that word means. So he puffed on his favorite briar. So to me, I'm like, I don't know what a briar is. Well, it's a tobacco pipe. So it's like a pipe that you would see, I don't know. I think about like Sherlock Holmes or something smoking. So if you have questions about stuff like that, there's also vocab words that are in the margin. So if you get confused on any of that, it's there. If you have questions on this, feel free to call into one of the Zoom times or shoot me a message on Canvas or Gmail, and we will kind of talk through what has happened so far in the story for Friday, and then we will continue reading on Friday. So again, for today, you just need to read through letter J. Okay, letter J right here. All right. Okay, happy reading.